Hello, my loves. We are in the middle of a massive identity shift happening right now on our planet, and it's pulling people out of the performance energies in patterns that they didn't even know that they were in. If you've been feeling like you can't be who you used to be anymore, even if you've already been transforming, but you're finding that you're reaching this place and space where even parts of your newer identity are starting to dissolve. This might be why. Okay. Um, as the systems are collapsing on our planet, the parts of our identity, the aspects of us that were functioning and surviving through those systems are now also in process of collapsing. And this is happening at a foundational level, right? So we're talking about root chakra topics, and we're seeing this across the board in the general collective. But I've also seen many of you commenting over these last few weeks that these topics are also coming up here for those of us who have been working through these processes of embodiment in um, conscious way. Like, obviously, the ascension, the evolution is happening, whether we're conscious of it or not. And again, this is affecting those types of areas of life that are connected to our root chakra: performance, worthiness, um, money wounds, our connection to the work that we do, or how we actually make or receive money so that we can provide for ourselves. Those root chakra topics, such as safety, stability, security, right? Trust. And again, providing for our basic needs: food, water, shelter, which again is connected into money and how we actually are relating to these performance energies to provide for ourselves and actually receive money and or resources. We're also at a time where a lot of us on a higher spiritual level are here to temper and become comfortable and also move into our desires of thriving and flourishing in ways that are heart centered and focused on unity consciousness, right? Unity for humanity, not in the old hoarding culture, right? Because we sometimes don't stop and think that these people who are at that top 1% of wealth on our planet are actually hoarders in a very unhealthy sense of the word. And so this is a time where we actually have the space and the awareness to allow ourselves to drop into these topics, to let ourselves unravel out of the performance, to realize that the performance is does not actually equal our worth. And I know these are the types of things we've a lot of us have already been working on, but this is where, as we unravel these deeper layers of this, right? It's coming up in the way that it is, not because we missed it. It's actually because we're building the new foundation. And with each step that we build in the new foundation, in the energies of unity consciousness and in the higher 5D consciousness energies, um, this is actually allowing the old um, templates to start to unravel, right? And yesterday I did a member video, and what came through was radical acceptance. And the energy around radical acceptance that came through was really connected to our capacity to not reject duality, to not resist duality, right? But to actually accept it radically for what it is. And actually, one of the major keys to holding unity consciousness and the 5D consciousness is our capacity to be present and radically accept dualistic energies. And it doesn't necessarily mean that we agree to them, but by accepting them for what they are, we can actually find the solutions that live within the middle. Because as we release resistance around one extreme or the other and hold the center line, it actually allows the distortion that lives within duality to collapse, right? The actual presence of duality on our planet in many ways is actually beautiful and important for our experience here. A perfect example would be night and day, right? We have a time to be awake and in the light, and we have a time to rest in the darkness, in our sleep time. So those are dualistic in nature, yet they are very important for our functioning and our rest and our activity, right? Because when we rest, we refuel so that we can be active the next day. And so the idea of duality can actually be deep within the energies of reciprocity when we work with them in a very harmonious way, right? It's when we have topics where we're in resistance to another extreme that we actually create that tug of war and war energies. And this is what we've been in the process of resolving and dissolving by coming into harmonious energies with ourselves, our own internal union, embracing all of the parts of ourselves and bringing them into a balance, acknowledging our light side, acknowledging our dark side. And through that process, what actually happens is instead of those aspects running us or running in the background, we're actually able to harness the gifts that live within all of the aspects. Okay. And so when we're talking about shadows and we're talking about fears and the fear of feeling unsafe or in survival mode, these are actually very deeply root chakra topics. Okay. And so there's multiple things that we can do to support this process. One of my favorites by all times is one of the most important, I believe, is actually working with and supporting our nervous system to be able to actually be truthful and factual about what we're experiencing in the moment, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Because a lot of times we might feel in our nervous system that we're unsafe, but it might not actually genuinely be true in that moment. Okay. But our systems have gone through a lot of survival experiences. So this can be something that brings up a lot of stress and remnants of past experiences in the nervous system. I have a free session around nourishing the nervous system here on the channel. And I also have a series to support the nervous system. I'm currently in the process of actually recording a series for resolving money wounds. And this came about because there's such a deep layer of our identity and our energy tied up in the exchange of energy and hours and life force to earn money, to be able to have currency to provide ourselves with shelter, food, water, clothing, etc. Okay. So I also have a free session connected to that here on the channel as well. If you haven't tapped into that, you might want to check that out. I'll put all this information in the pinned comments, but I just wanted you to know that these resources are available, okay? Free ones. Then if you want to go deeper, there's this series to support these processes. And why I'm bringing those up right now is because some of these areas that are coming up at this foundational level, where we are unraveling deeper states of performance, where we're learning how to drop into our worthiness, this is setting the stage for us to unravel more clearly and directly out of functioning from survival mode, allowing ourselves to harness the energy of thriving, but also moving towards deeper states of embodying an energy of flourishing. Okay. And this feels important for many reasons. One, just because we actually do deserve to come out of survival mode and out of intense nervous system deregulation and actually have a peaceful, joyful life. Excuse me. And yes, of course, there's still going to be things for us to deal with, right? But we have capacity to create that calm, that peace, that steadiness within us, even when things are unstable in the collective, or even when we're moving through a transition that feels unstable. We have the capacity to develop the strength within ourselves to come into those tempered energies and recenter. And it might seem like, well, when the world is in chaos, what is my coming into a peaceful state actually help? Well, it actually helps a lot more than you might ever realize. People, one person holding a state of peace and love actually can hold space to stabilize. I think it's something like 2,000 people or something like that. This is connected to the work of Dr. David. Wow, I can't remember his name right now. Hawkins. Sorry about that. Yes. And his book, Power versus Force. I didn't read the whole thing, but he really talks about our emotions and the energies that we're holding being very powerful as far as supporting that collective stability. So it's not about never having other emotions, right? I think it's really important that we acknowledge that we're human and we're going to experience emotions that are uncomfortable. The key piece is, how are we actually moving through those? How are we supporting ourselves? How are we processing those and restabilizing our energy? How quickly can we move through things? And it's actually not about ignoring the uncomfortable. It's about the capacity to be able to remain peaceful and calm even when things are uncomfortable. Okay. So you actually hold a tremendous amount of power, right? Power versus force, just by learning how to be present and actually allowing your energy to become magnetic for that thriving and flourishing energy. Even when the world around you might seem like it wants to tell you to go back into survival mode, where can you actually recenter and come into stability within? Okay. And this is something that has been very important to my own personal process through this journey. It's something I've actually understood quite deeply, also something that I continue to work on as we continue into these next phases. And so I myself have been going through a leveling up around my work and around what to offer and how to offer it. And so I have Harmonious Hearts. For those of you who have been here with me for a while, I have my other channel, Danielle Wilk, and I've sort of stepped in and out of that as a creative space for myself to dabble around topics that might come up that don't necessarily um, always feel like they belong here, but they're not necessarily separate either. And it's just part of where I'm exploring the next levels of my work and my offerings and just having a safe space to share. I was guided yesterday to actually share just a stay calm. Calm in the chaos guided meditation. It's free over there if you want to check it out. I will tell you that as of right now, I'm going to continue to just do as I'm guided. Maybe that is going to grow into a bouquet of meditations over there on that channel. And maybe it's just part of this transition, but you're welcome to participate and go along this journey with me if you feel guided. And again, it's really an important time to do that for yourself, to give yourself the space and the grace to actually explore the version of who you are now and who you are becoming without all of the old constraints of what's collapsing in society, where those performance energies are unraveling deeper, where you're or we are creating more space for our authenticity to land. And sometimes it's not about having it all figured out. The beautiful part about this part of the process is actually providing the space and the grace for yourself to get to know new parts of yourself in new ways. And yes, again, I also think why this becomes important and why the resolving money wounds has come up so clearly through this process is because even those that have moved into a lot of the new ways of being, there's still this energy of requiring finances and money to support ourselves in a lot of ways at this time. And if we are housing uncomfortable feelings connected to, or what came up this week was a resentment connected to money. But it wasn't about money in and of itself. It was the resentment of the need to perform or for people to feel that they have to do actions or jobs or spend a lot of time and effort and energy and life force making money doing things that they do not enjoy or like, or things that do not support them in all the other areas of their life and only provide the monetary value. And that was really acceptable in the old ways of being. But this is something that's really starting to push very intensely on the collective because using our life force, using your life force towards things that aren't nourishing is becoming exceedingly expensive. And really, the bottom line at the end of the day, your most powerful resource is your life force, is your health and well being, right? Because you, healthy and well, is actually able to provide. So it feels like a very important time for our planet, for humanity, to really start to prioritize the body, the self, right? And the health and well being above what is perceived success or worth in a matter of performance energies. Okay. So, with that said, I know that this might be getting long, but again, these old systems are beginning to collapse around us. We don't know where the money in the financial system is headed. Right now, all we can do is focus on what's in front of us. So, as we unravel the wounds, we can create the space for financial flow and also opening up to receiving any and all resources that are supportive to our evolution process, the evolution from surviving into flourishing, my loves. Okay. I would love to hear from you. I know that over in my member areas, a lot of you have been feeling these topics happening. So, any of you who would like to join us over there and join in the conversation, please feel free. If you have any questions, again, everything will be in the pinned comment, including my other YouTube channel. And as always, I'm sending you so much love, and I hope you found this message supportive. Take care. Bye.